welcome to the final video in my planner section series. We are going to tackle the final section in the setup, and it's at the very back of the back book, and I navigate to this section using the tab up here, and it's the Someday Maybe section. And I've talked about this before. It's a GTD concept where, you know, it's like the graveyard for good ideas, things you'd like to do, but who knows when you'll have the time or the energy or the money. But this is where I gather all those great ideas divided by context or rather area of my life. So I'm going to go through what the tabs mean, and the first one here is sort of seasonal. I have a short list for each month. The things that, like the things you need to do every year or that you want to do every year. So for example, in April, change the tires on the car to the summer tires, do my taxes and things of that nature. In May, we plant flowers, you know, that kind of thing. Things that you need to remember for each month of the year, and things that you would like to try, perhaps, like for Christmas. Yeah, and then I also have a specific spread for Christmas and Midsummer. So things like, well, it's only the food because that's the most important thing, and the thing you wonder each year about, you know, oh, what do we need to get for Christmas or Midsummer Night's Eve? Well, here's the list, and it's so helpful. I've used it for years now. Then I have a tab for presents, and I'm not going to show you because I don't know who's watching, okay? But I have lists of present ideas for different people in that section. Let's see. Then I have, I mean, I can't show you this one either, but I have a tab for people, which is friends and family and things I need to do for people, or people. I actually have a list of people that I know so that I keep in contact with them. And that sounds ridiculous for people who are naturally social, but I'm not. So I need a list so I don't forget people. That's just, I mean, if I didn't do it, I would forget about them. So you decide which is worse. I wouldn't forget about all of them, but you know, some people are more peripheral to your life, but you still like them and you want to meet them at least like once per year. I don't know. Then I have paperwork and money. I'm not going to show you that one either because it, you know, contains information that I don't want to be on the internet. But that's like things to do with taxes and wages and, yeah, you know, those boring things that you still need to do. I list them there. Then, let's see. This one I can show you. Yes. This is for shopping, like things we need to buy. And I have one list here of things that need to be refilled, like you need to buy them again and again, like toilet paper and stuff. And I have this list to remind myself and my husband when he does the shopping, which is most of the time, what we always need. Like we always need oats and cooking oil and black pepper and stuff like that. So I go to this list to remind myself of those constant things that need renewed. This list, on the other hand, is stuff that we might want to buy, often bigger stuff, or I put clothes here, big stuff like doors and like when you want to renovate the house or something, you need to buy big stuff and machines and wood or whatever. I put that here. Then Then the next tab, the next area is travel and fun. And I have places we'd like to visit and things we'd like to do on this page. And on this page I have packing, like things that I always need to bring with me. And I can't tell you how helpful it is to have a list where you put those things so you don't have to think every time. Maybe everyone does this, but if you don't, it's a tip. And I divide them into, I have 2 columns here. And the first one is the things I always need, like my medication and underwear and stuff like that, the charger. And on the right, in the right column, I put things that I sometimes need, like for longer trips, or like if I need to bring a sleeping bag because we're not staying at a hotel or something. That's more unusual, but sometimes it's needed. So I'll put that here. I also have a few tips down here. Drink a lot of water 2 days, or like the days running up to the trip. And then don't drink as much as you're traveling, because you never know when you're going to get to a bathroom. So in order not to get dehydrated, you should drink a lot beforehand, but then stop the day before you go. I also have a tip, travel in off-shoulder tops, like because you can get sweaty when you run for trains and it's too hot on the airplane or whatever. So having off-shoulder clothing makes it a bit more aired out, I guess. I also have an idea to just bring 1 set of clothes and buy new stuff when I arrive. Car. 2 lists again. This list is for stuff that needs fixing on the car. And this list is for, I have this little plastic bag in the door, you know, there's like a pocket in the door. So I have this bag with stuff that you might need. So I have like these kind of, they're called glass wipes. It's for what's it called? Glasses, like, or sunglasses. They're soaked in alcohol so you can clean your glasses. So I have that there. I have some toilet paper. I have some nuts. You know, if you get hungry, nuts have a long shelf life, so you can keep them there for a long time. But they fill you up as well, so they're really good. They're better than like thin bread or something. Pain medication, earplugs, things of that nature that you might need. So I check that list to see that, you know, sometimes these things need to be refilled. So that's why I have that list. Cleaning and tidying. I have 1 list to the right here that's inspired by Fly Lady and her cleaning system. I tried to follow her system, but it wasn't for me because it was too prescriptive. But I do like the reminders that she's got, you know, don't forget, like the windows or like light switches and stuff. So it was a really good collection of areas in your house that you need to tend to. So I wrote a list partly based on her system, and I added some stuff of my own as well. So for example, the coffee machine, to give back things that you've borrowed, wash the curtains, you know, all those things that need doing. On this side, I have tips and ideas. So the 2-minute hotspot is from Fly Lady as well. So that's when you set a timer for 2 minutes and you just clean a very small space. For places in your house that tend to become cluttered, like the kitchen table or the hallway or whatever it is. So you put in 2 minutes of really concentrated work, and that's a good idea. I also have other ideas that I got from different YouTubers or things I've thought about myself, things to try to get on track with my tidying and cleaning, even though it's a constant headache in my life. This spread is for interior decoration and fixing things around the house. So I have a list of things that need fixing or things that I'd like to try, like I'd like to decorate this room this way, I'd like to put a lamp made of moose horns in this room, or we need to put out our fire, what's it called? The things that beep when there's a fire. And we need to mend some bookcases, things of that nature. And here I have some tips about how to decorate so that it looks good. So sometimes I stumble on like interior design people who have YouTube channels, or they get interviewed and they say, oh, you should do it like this, and I write it down and then I never do it. But at least I have a list. This is for renovations, so it's kind of a continuation of the fixing things, but it's much bigger, like bigger things, putting in new radiators or wallpapering a room, like big projects. This is for our cabin, and I actually have several pages for our cabin because there's a lot to do when it comes to that. So I have a list of things to bring to the cabin, which is kind of similar to the packing list on the Travel and Fun spread, but it's slightly different because I also need to bring like dishwashing liquid or whatever you call it, and more clothes and like cleaning supplies and things like that. So this is what to bring. Then I have checklist. When we leave home, I need to check that we've, switched off our appliances, that we have the key with us, things like that we have gas in the car. And when we arrive, I also have a list to immediately put on a pot of potatoes, because we're gonna need it. We're gonna want to eat it, to make ice and to scrape out the ashes from the fireplace, things like that. And I have a list for when we go home and when we come home again. I have a separate renovation and like fixing things for the cabin. Like these things would go on these lists that I just talked about normally, but since they have to do with the cabin and we're only there in the summertime, so it's kind of separate, so it needs its separate lists. And there's a lot of things we want to do, and there's even more. Look at this. This is more fun projects, like how I want to decorate both the house and like the woods outside the house. We have ideas for that. We want to make like a fairy tale path where we hang things in the trees. When you're creative, your mind just doesn't stop. So that's it for the cabin. Then we have a list for a section of our house that we use for, is like we have had of what's it called, like music, live music in this section of our house for the public, and we have lists for that, like ideas, what we'd like to do, what we need to fix in that room. So that's a bit special. I'm not going to show you because it's kind of personal. Then I have a spread for music, which is both On this side, I have things I want to listen to, and don't forget about this. And this is for making music, so like song title ideas or things we or I want to do. Like my husband wants to play the violin in an orchestra. I have a few songs I want to filch the chords from. Yeah, just general things to do with music. Food. Are you bored yet? This is a really big section. I have 2 spreads, I think. Yes, for food. So I have one list of things that we like. And I just realized I have to cover something up. Yes, food that we like, because sometimes you sort of fall into a rut and we always eat the same thing. What do we like? What do we want to eat? So I have a list of things we like so that we can be reminded that why don't you make crushed potatoes, or why don't you make a Thai wok, or Then I have a list of things that are good on a buffet. So every time we make a buffet, when we have lots of people over, we go to this list so that we get ideas. What do you need? What are the different components that you need on a buffet? So for example, you need a lot of vegetables of different kinds. You need some cold meats. You need some salads, not meaty, but filling salads with couscous or pasta or something, or potatoes. And you need sauces and dips. Just to remind ourselves what works on a buffet. Next page. Also, a list for breakfast. When you have lots of guests over and you need to give them breakfast the morning after, then what do people eat? This is a list of what people eat in the mornings. I have a list of ideas how to replace meat dishes with vegetarian options, and some ideas about what we might like to buy from local food manufacturers. And then we have a spread for alcohol, wines that we like, beers that we like, and this should be longer, but some things you just know. I'm not going to forget that I like Kilkenny, or maybe I do. Maybe I should put it here, because I'm stupid. So why not work with that? And on this side, spirits or drinks like ouzo and sambuca, mojito, brandy Alexander. Just because I tend to forget. I forget everything. So when you're celebrating, or you feel like having a drink, what do you like? I have no idea. Gin and tonic. No. Have a gimlet instead. Yeah. So next spread is for photography and filming. I don't do that a lot anymore, but I have some ideas that I'd like to try sometime. Series of photographs that I'd like to take, or just themed photography. So in order not to forget about those great ideas, I put them here in the graveyard. Same here. This is for drawing and painting. I also have some ideas that I'd like to try. Crafting, much more ideas here. So I have ideas for themed junk journals, and I have a list of mass making stuff, like things that I can do like on an industrial level, or like the Ford principle. You just do one thing. You cut images, or you glue clusters, or you punch circles out of patterned paper, or you sew signatures. You only do that and gather a lot of like you gather the supplies you need, you do this thing, and then you have a box full of finished fussy cut images, or distressed images, or so it's just a list of what I can do if I feel like mass making stuff. And some ideas on how to make yearly books, where I put like mementos and well, real life ephemera. I want to do one book per year of my life. So that's kind of a gigantic project that I've only just started, but I have ideas here on how to do it, how I want the books to look. Yeah, and here are some ideas for eco printing, I think it's called, when you or you ink. No, you don't ink. You stain paper with plants. I don't know the right words for it, but you use plants to color paper. And my sister did it, and she has some tips, so I wrote them down and just put some post-its in, because I'm not sure yet if I have the stamina to do this. This is also to do with crafting. It's my template that's garnered a bit of attention on YouTube, actually, that I, how to do a page layouts that I like. I have a video on this. I think it's called crafting templates or something, so you can find it on YouTube. TV and film, things we'd like to watch or rewatch, so we don't forget about that. Social media, so YouTube and the blog. I don't really blog. I used to, but I terminated it because it just consumed way too much time. But I do YouTube, obviously, and I have some ideas here for what to do. Clothes. I have things I need to do, like I need to mend some jewelry, I need to modify some dresses, but on this side I have style and tips. Like I've gathered I've made a list of my style, because I tend to buy stuff that I don't use, because I buy clothes secondhand, so they're very cheap, and it's like, oh, I like this, and then I buy it, and then I don't use it. So I've made this list to remind myself of my own style, what I actually like, what I use. So I've put, what kind of patterns I like, what kind of cuts I like. So tartan, stripes, and just one color. I don't like patterns very much. Gothic and so on. So it's just, keep to this style, because then everything goes together. And and some general rules for buying clothes. It shouldn't, I have problems with, I like tight clothes, but they tend to be too tight across the shoulders, so it puts pressure on my neck, and I get a neck ache from, like, waistcoats, for example, or some dresses. So I put this on the list when I go shopping for clothes, just make sure it's not too tight over the shoulders. Like those kind of things that you need to know when you go shopping. This one is for writing, so I have some ideas on what to do, what to change. This is a list of dog names. We love dogs. We've never had dogs. We might get some dogs one day. And we like discussing what those dogs could be called. So I have this little list of things we'd like to call our dogs. And by now we need to get 8 dogs to actually distribute the names to. Chinook and Amarillo, those are species of, what's it called, hops. And these other names are only funny in Swedish, I'm sorry. Then I have a health tab. I'm not going to show you, but I have lists of things I need to sort of check, go to a doctor's and have fixed, hopefully, probably not. I have the contact details of some practitioners and some like general advice for myself, how to live my life. These things are good to do. Get some fresh air, drink water. I've added, this is quite a new spread, prepping. Because the way the world looks now, we need to be prepared for anything. So I've started this list to, for things that you need, for example, if something happens, war breaks out or something, you need water, you need, how do you heat the house? Do you have torch lights? Do you have candles? Those kinds of things. But we've only just started thinking about those things. Many adult points for that. I do have a tab for planner plans, but they change all the time. So I haven't found anything to put in the Someday Maybe section yet, because if I put all of my ideas for planners here, I would use up too many pages, and then I wouldn't use the ideas. And if sometimes I think, oh, now I have the perfect system and I put it here, but no, I change it up. So there's nothing permanent enough that I can put it here. But I do have a tab in case that happens at some point. For example, I might put how many pages to devote to different sections in the front book, so that I can check it and see that, okay, from page 46 to page 75 I put my daily doodles and so on. But I'm not sure yet that I am consistent enough with these sections and the amount of pages they take up to actually put them here, but maybe one day in the future. And that concludes almost my planner section series. I do want to mention that in the very back here I have my tab storage. So anytime I need a new tab, for example, when I jot down some random scribbles in the random section, I need a tab to mark what it's about, and then I go back here. So yeah, here are all my tabs. And that's it. Thank you for watching if you did.